Hey everyone, welcome to the GameGravy Rewind podcast. This is Michael speaking, and with me I have Chris and Dante.
What's going on, guys?
This is episode 59, and we are going to be talking about Uncharted 4.
A Thief's
Thief's End.
I didn't
Yeah.
you were add that little thing right there.
Well, I was giving it some dramatic pause. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But let's get started. All right, guys, what do you think?
It depends on, like, do we think this is a great game? Oh, absolutely. I think it's a freaking amazing game. Best one in the series. As far as storytelling goes and pacing wise, yes. And action.
Interesting.
And action.
Okay. Yeah, so far I've been very happy with the action. There's been a couple spots where I'm like, oh wow, it's gameplay time. Okay, I was still watching it, like
Yeah, I think it was like a movie. It was like, oh, well.
yeah.
Yeah, the first, couple chapters feel like a movie to me.
I definitely love how these type of games play out, especially like recently in gaming. Like the Uncharted games have always been an interactive movie, but it's still a fun game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of like eliminates the boring first-person shooters we keep experiencing, and I'm a huge first-person shooter fan. But this is just nice and refreshing to see this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, the whole time I was playing, I was like, this is amazing. I feel like I just should sit my girlfriend down and be like, hey, this is like a movie night kind of thing. So just watch it, enjoy it, and this is you're gonna
Shut
love
up. Just kidding.
Chris, I had a pretty similar experience. I mean, my girlfriend, she's pretty non-committal when it comes to games. She really doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I mean, she came into the room a couple of times while I was playing, and she stopped and was like, "What is that?" And I said, "That's the new Uncharted game that I was telling you about." And she just stopped what she was doing and came in and sat down. She's like, "Wow."
So she actually watched you play it?
She actually,
watched
she actually
like a
watched.
movie?
I mean, I don't want to spoil any of the moments of the game and stuff, but just that first time you go to Madagascar and you see that just crazy rainbow of color. I mean, she came in relatively soon after that moment, and she was just she just stopped what she was doing and watched.
That's pretty cool. That's impressive to say that the game can capture somebody's attention that's not really in the game.
Yeah.
And engage them.
I mean, Naughty Dog has a knack of doing that, though. If you look at games like The Last of Us, I mean, for that, my girlfriend at the time, she sat there and literally watched me play that thing from start to finish. And being how I play games like maybe 4 to 5, sometimes 6 hours at a time, and just blowing through the story or whatever. And she sat there the whole time and watched me play it.
I mean, that says a lot about their quality. I like that,
Yeah.
It's not like a Telltale game where you'd be like interacting with people and having to pick scenarios saying, okay, what do we want to do next? But it's still a linear story game, which is fun.
Yeah.
I don't mind those type of stories in games, to be honest with you. Some people aren't fans of them. And, everybody's got their own opinion about that, but I'm definitely digging it. I mean, what do you guys think about the 50 gig requirement, though, for the game?
I think it sucks if you have a data cap and you downloaded it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you guys download it or buy the disc?
No, I bought the disc, but it still installs it onto the freaking system.
Yeah. No, I purchased
50 gigs.
Yeah, I went to a store and bought mine, but thankfully, my internet service provider doesn't have a data cap anyway. But still, I mean, those that do, whew, that sucks.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. I don't have a data cap on mine anyways. I think that Comcast does cap you if you abuse it, but they don't tell you that they're doing it. You just notice a significant, slowdown. But I found out that if you call them and you're like, hey, I purchased something, it downloaded, took long, I noticed my internet's a lot slower, they'll remove the cap for you.
Well,
as long as you don't just do it again.
I guess quick. That's nice of them.
Yeah. It just like it's an automated system. It keeps track for people that abuse it.
Word.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess. Either way, jumping back to Uncharted.
Sorry.
Coming back to why are we all here now?
Yeah.
What did you think of the? Okay, first start off. When you first start the game, What did you think in those first couple moments, Mike?
When they're in
The
the
boat.
orphanage.
No, the boat.
Oh, the boat. Oh, I thought that was awesome. Um, it was weird at first because I mean I died a couple times because I wasn't quite. I had to get my bearings on everything, but it looked beautiful, and I don't know. It was different. It was a great way to start the game. I think it like just dumps you right in the action. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I thought
I
that was
uh, I
pretty
like that.
interesting.
I was getting ready for a super long intro, like that. Sometimes games do that, like that are like this, where you have some backstory, you get some key player interest in characters, but for this one, they're just like, you're on a boat, go.
Yeah. To me, it felt like when starting up and then later on as it progressed, it felt like a summer movie blockbuster, and it was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. It feels like a summer movie that's going on right now. I'm like, damn, this is like perfect timing when they came brought it out. Was this their plan all along or whatever? Because realistically, in the winter, it'd be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. It's gonna sell units, whatever. But this
Mhm.
feels like it fits in with the fact of when it came out, since we're around the corner of summer, and when it pretty much came out at a time when what Civil War came out. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they plan that stuff appropriately because it gets you in the mood even more. It's like nice outside, it's warm, and you're like playing scenarios and different scenes that are in the game that are like that.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
You have more
there. I mean,
emotional connect.
just so we're clear about for the audience too. Me and Chris have beaten the game,
Yeah,
and
I'm still
and
playing
and
through it.
Mike is very early stages playing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just man, you guys talk about the beginning of the game, and really like one of my favorite parts about this game, and one of the reasons why I love it so much is that it ebbs and flows almost like the a classical composer does with his music. There are
yeah,
I was just
highs, the highs and lows, and just letting you catch your breath, letting you kind of coast a little bit, and then they just kick you right into the atmosphere again. Like these just high breaking moments, like a composer does with his music. It is so well crafted, just the way that they do with their pacing. It's phenomenal to me. It was blown away.
I was gonna ask you how you felt from the beginning of the game to the end. That pacing. Did you like it? Did did it flow smoothly to you? Like, or is the beginning part just more
No,
like some games have more action in the beginning, then it dies out or it becomes repetitive.
yeah,
Did you
no,
feel like they kept it fresh constantly, like
no, yeah.
doing different
That's
things?
what I'm saying. Like, it brings you up to the point where you're like, all right, man, I need a break. Like, this is so much action, and then it slows it back down, and it ramps it back up, and then slows it back down. It's really really well done, just the way that they do the pacing. And I mean, Chris can attest to this too. Like, just the way that they bring you along
yeah.
from start to finish is incredible. And I it took me a week to beat it, a little over a week to beat it, because I kind of dilly dallied and took my time and smelled the roses and all that with it, because this is the first Naughty Dog game in 3 years, and it's the first Uncharted game in almost 5 years.
Hmm.
So I really wanted to take my time with it, and the fact that it's supposed to be the last one and everything, the pacing for me is perfect.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's good to know.
for me, I agree with Dante completely. Do I feel like I should have like stayed back and like slow down and whatnot and taken my time with it? Yeah, in a way. But then I'm thinking like, this is the last Uncharted game, from what everyone's saying, and I just really want to experience this and how well it's so paced and whatnot, and how good everything looks, and just how the voice acting is, and how these characters interact with each other. I mean, hell, I like Sam, Nate's brother. I didn't think I would, because the fact that like he's just a new character thrown in, and it's supposed to be
Hmm.
the last game, and I feel like I was like, oh my god, is this story going to be all focused on him and whatever? I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to deal with that. I thought it wasn't going to work. I thought this like it wasn't part of originally what Amy Henning had in her story wise, and this is what they changed and all of this other stuff. And it turns out I actually really enjoyed it. Even
I I agree. I was almost to the point where I was very worried about it when Henning left. I'm like, oh man, like I mean, she was the godmother of this series, really. And when she left, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if they're gonna be able to keep this, make that final game well enough. And I think they did a great job making it in her image. Whether
Yeah.
whether they kept her story or not. Um, I can't imagine that she would see this and not see the love that was put into it and written not by her but almost for her. Like
Yeah.
I feel like almost written a love story for the author from the author's perspective.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I mean, we've been with these characters for like what, 10
A
years?
while. I was
Almost
gonna
10,
say.
Yeah,
almost 10 years now.
yeah, it's almost 10 years. I mean, it's crazy that they've been able to what they've been able to do. And I mean, I'm in the process of writing the review right now, and it took me literally 3 days after finishing the game to just stop and collect my thoughts and really just think about the experience as a whole, to even be able to write about it without just gushing about it like a soccer mom. Like I couldn't. When I was done with it, I mean, I sent Mike and I sent Eddie and a couple other people just instant text messages like, 10 out of 10, absolutely amazing. I can't. I'm absolutely blown away by this game, and
I hope that's a quote in your review too, that you got a soccer mom. If not, we'll have to pull it as a quote.
Like I mean, really, they did such a good job of, like, Chris, to what you're saying about Sam. I went into that too, walking into that story going like, I'm not really gonna care about this guy, and they just did such an amazing job of organically making you
Yeah.
care about that guy. Like, they earned it. They earned every single second of that, like, of you caring about those characters,
Yeah.
and it's incredible.
Do you feel like they did service to the story in the end? Like, did they wrap up the series well? I mean, without spoiling it, like, do you feel like they wrapped up the series well, or possibly left it open to have like a grand finale, another one, or
I mean, okay, I really don't want to spoil anything here.
yeah, I mean, don't spoil anything, especially for people that haven't played it, or maybe in the process of playing it. But
I'll say this: they can pick it up in another 10 years, or they can pick it up within like another 5 years or something like that. They can pick it up and move on with the series. I can say that, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna leave with that. And
okay,
from what they did in this game, wraps up the main particular people characters. They wrap that story up. Everything
so
else,
okay,
I think that's a great way of putting it without spoiling anything.
yeah.
so it feels like it's complete. You don't walk away with going, "Dang, I want more. What happened to these people, or what's going on?" Okay,
Yeah.
There's
you get closure.
I mean, Chris, I don't know how you were with it, but I mean, I'm sure Mike is in this process now. Every day that I was in the middle of playing this but hadn't beaten it yet, I stayed off of everything to do with this game. Like any
Yes.
article, anything. I've been living in a bubble out of fear of spoilers. And as soon as I was done, I mean, I deep dove into it big time.
Well,
Just
that's the number one reason why I powered through it, because of the fact that I don't want to see anything. Because as soon as the
Yeah.
reviews went up, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna play it,
Yep.
see it for myself. And as
I
soon as I got
haven't
my
read
copy,
any reviews. I
Yep.
don't want to read anything about it because someone will write something and spoil it, and
Yep.
I don't want to know. That's why I jumped in and I'm heads down now until I beat this.
Yeah,
So
I had not seen anybody else's review until probably a couple of days after I had finished the game, and then and I was talking to you, I was like, oh, dude, 10 out of 10. 10, when I start writing the review, that's the first thing I'm doing is writing the score, and then I'll write the actual review, and then I was reading other people's reviews, like, all right, cool, I'm not some fool out on a ledge by myself, like
yeah,
it's almost universal praise from everybody else that I've seen.
it's good.
yeah.
That's important.
I mean,
I mean, you would think so for the series, but you never know. Especially you don't know if the same people are carrying over for the production and the story, or if they're hiring new people to do it.
I mean, you could definitely tell. I mean, this was the Last of Us team that worked on this. You can, I mean, it
Wait.
shows
Okay, good.
tremendously.
Oh, preach, preach. Their fingerprints are all over this game while not taking it over. You know, like
Yeah.
they didn't Last of Us the entire game. You know, like they let it stand on its own 2 feet still.
I think that's important. Like you need that quality and character, and the warmth because you get attached to the characters and they grow. I don't know, they grow on you.
I mean,
Chris, did you like how it still differentiated itself from The Last of Us while, piggybacking a little bit from what it had done?
yeah. I mean, hell, I love the game. Period. I mean, I honestly think like I don't see how can Naughty Dog do bad. I'm waiting for them to mess up. Like, like I'm seriously just sitting there like, when are they gonna mess up? Like,
They have a winning combination of key players over there. For right now at least.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty incredible seeing what like again, I'm gonna gush about this game and this development house. Like I just don't see them. I don't see anybody else doing what they do. Like
and that's
I play a lot of games, and I know you guys all do. And really, like, who else puts this much care and love and reverence into their games? Like,
and that blows my freaking mind. I'm sorry.
like
Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off there. But that blows my
no,
freaking mind. This is their first party studio. What other studio is doing the same kind of things that they are doing?
it's
I
really
don't
like,
understand.
At
honest to God, dude,
at that high of
it's
quality. Yeah.
almost like it's seriously like they're so the best analogy I can give is they're the kid in Little League that's like 6 inches taller and 50 pounds heavier than every other kid in there.
A
Like
little stronger. Yeah.
they're the Danny Almonte of all these other developers, and they're just murdering everybody, and everybody else stands around and just goes, yeah, like we got.
Mhm.
Sorry,
What, what would you
we're just
what
not
would
good
you
enough.
guys say to the jaded gamers out there that are like, it's another Uncharted. There has to be. It can't be that perfect of a game.
You know,
Would you what would you say to them? Because they're out there, they exist, and they're and
Chris, go ahead, and then I will.
I mean, I can say this. They're going to sit there and complain the fact that it's linear, it's not a first-person shooter, or whatever the case may be. Then, in my opinion, it may not be their particular game. But if you just sit there and take it like 10 minutes and just play the game, you sit there and look at it, and you're like, dang, what have I been missing? Why have I not played this series at all? And then I'm guarantee you, if people are out there buying this game now and they haven't played the 1 through 3, they're gonna play it and be like, "Dang, you know what? I really want to go back and play the 1 through 3." Then they're gonna buy the Uncharted collection, or you maybe got people out there who's gonna buy the Uncharted collection first and then play through it. It makes no sense. The fact that we there are people out there that can't take this for like take something like this and be like, I can take 6 to 10 hours out of my Call of Duty schedule and play this game and fall in love with it and
yeah.
just be done with the story and whatnot.
And I've heard people arguing like, "Oh, Uncharted's just trying to copy off Tomb Raider," and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
There's
Well, yeah,
those
I mean,
people.
there was the the Dude Raider call that was going out back in '07 when the game first started. The game first came out.
Yeah,
That was the joke.
yeah,
It's not Tomb Raider, it's Dude Raider. So yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, Tomb Raider and Uncharted at this point almost have a symbiotic relationship where
I
they
agree.
kind of they've borrowed things from each other, and you can tell some of the Tomb Raider uh, impressions being put into this game a little bit too. Like Uncharted, Last of Us, and Tomb Raider kind of have some fingerprints on this game. So
yeah.
like Chris, what you were talking about for some of this, like just jumping into 4, I think you can, but I think it's the worst thing you can do to this game is to play 4 sight unseen with 1 through 3. Even
Yeah.
if you don't play the games, like even if you decide to just, you know what, I want to play this, but I don't want to play all 3 previously, previous ones. If you just want to like, if you wanted to watch YouTube videos of the game of 1 through 3, I think you're crazy. But go ahead. At least you have context to what's going on in 4 because you lose some of the best parts about this game is the growth that they've shown from 1 through 3 and then put into 4.
Yeah.
Like there's all those moments from with Sully and Nate and Elena and Nate, and that's like those small character-driven moments will be lost on you.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
if you lose that, like you lose a lot of that, like that's where a lot of my love for this game is just those small scenes with Nate and Elena and their relationship feels real and organic and lived in and natural. And Nate and Sully too, they have that almost father-son relationship, and you're gonna lose a lot of that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's one scene in particular with Justin where it was like pretty much all of them, but it was mainly Nate and Elena talking. I think Dante, you know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah,
you just feel it. You just feel like,
yeah,
holy crap, this is like really emotional right now. What the heck? And this is a video game.
yeah. Like the
How do I
way.
have feelings?
Oh, dude, it's crazy. Like just the way that the way that they interact with one another is again, they are the best at what they do, and everybody else needs to get their crap together and look at this game and hang their head in shame. Everything you're doing story wise is garbage.
Yeah.
It just is. I'm sorry to everybody else. You know, I love a lot of other games. I love a lot of other stories, but the way that they present story and character is better than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's a fair assessment.
I mean, it's I just don't understand why like no other developer is sitting out there like, dang, Naughty Dog really did this. What can we learn from this? Oh no, we're just going to continue shoveling out whatever we can shovel out, half behind our work, you know.
Yeah. I don't, you know, like I don't expect so that there's like I don't expect every game to come out and be this like amazing story driven thing, but I expect if you are going to put something story driven out there that you at least treat it with the care that these guys do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should at least be, very flushed out and have a polish level. When they set the bar, they really do, I think, in terms of the way their narrative goes across their games.
right. I
Like
mean,
you
you
go
look,
ahead, go ahead.
you go through every single conference, you go through every single PlayStation conference. I, I'm like, for me, I'm sitting there like, okay, what Naughty Dog is going to show? I don't care about any other developer. Show me what Naughty Dog is going to go show do right now. Because E3 happens within like what less than a month now. I'm gonna be wondering,
Yeah,
is there going to be a Last of Us 2 trailer going on right now? Is that was that what we're getting, or a PlayStation X at the in December? Or are we going to get a Last of Us teaser? What is Naughty Dog doing? And
yeah.
that's
Or
all
are
I
they
care about.
working on something new altogether?
Yeah, I mean there's just
Either way,
whatever they do is really, I mean they can do no wrong almost in my eyes. Like I just I love what they've done so far in the last previous console generations. Even, you know, I think you have to go all the way back to Jack and Daxter 2 to find a game of theirs that I didn't really love.
Yeah, I
So
would agree with you on that one.
like that, I mean, we're going on like that's got to be 2003-ish, 2004-ish.
Yeah, for PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Yeah.
long time. That's you're batting 1,000 for 13 years here. That's pretty damn good.
I did love Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like even I mean, really, one thing that they do, again, one thing that they do that nobody else does is that they turn these mundane moments into something special, and it's just like, you know, Nate and Elena eating dinner,
yeah,
Nate and Sam sitting on a chair, sitting in chairs, just talking, and those scenes they have like this electricity to them that you can't really, like I can't even really describe it or really put it into proper context unless you've played all these games, you've been with all these characters for all this time, and then you get to these moments and it's just they just it doesn't make sense how well they convey these moments and how nobody else can.
Yeah. Well, because they don't have the talent at their studios, probably.
it's either that or they're either talent or they don't they they're on a time limit or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
But
not sure the time limit of what they got, like how long it took them to do Uncharted 4.
well,
That'd be
yeah,
good.
yeah. Again, it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since almost 5 years since Uncharted 3. Like that's a long time, man. Like you don't really get 5 years to make a game from most publishers and stuff, and it's like I don't think every game needs it or wants it. This is
No.
just something special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was supposed to come out December of last year or November or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, we knew they asked Sony like, "Oh, we knew our time," and they pushed it to March, and like, "Okay, we'll give you more time." And they're like, "Oh, we need just a little bit more time," and
Yeah,
they just pushed it to May, and turns out,
And it was well worth it though,
yeah.
right?
yeah,
I mean, Chris, do you remember me when that delay came out? I mean, you and I were so pissy pants about it. We're just like,
yeah,
damn it! Like we got to wait, 6 months or however long it was, and man, they used every freaking second
yeah.
to everything. Every second that they delayed that game was worth it.
I mean, it comes down to the fact of that's what they did with The Last of Us, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was supposed to come out in like a holiday, and then they pushed
Yep.
it, and then they pushed it again, and it
Yeah.
was like it happened. What did it come out in like in
Yeah.
May?
Almost 3 years ago to the day.
Yeah, and I was like, dang, all right, that paid off, and then I guess they figured like, hey, let's do this again. We're worth it. We got this.
Sure. Like Mike, I mean Mike Mike asked about the jaded, people that are jaded and don't really care about some of the stuff, that's going on. Like I really think between Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted, I mean my love of video games is almost revitalized right now with just those two games. And that's not being like a Sony fanboy or whatever. Like I love Xbox, I love Nintendo. Just
Yeah,
those
I do too.
those
Yeah.
two games are the best two games I've played since Rise of the Tomb Raider and The Witcher.
I think games like this are needed to regenerate, re-energize those gamers that have just fallen off the bandwagon because they're not being, I don't know, I don't want to say inspired, but they're not being excited because we just keep seeing the same old stuff over and over
yeah.
again.
Yeah, I
I,
mean, I felt like that way for like a couple months, and I was like, what is there to play? Like, I want to play something. I don't know what to play. And I
yeah.
started looking, and I'm like,
I'm getting sick of online only multiplayer DLC
Sure.
games.
Yeah, you can only play so many matches of Battlefront and Halo and Call of Duty and all that stuff without
Yeah.
you need something different. But I mean, really, we're 2.5 years into this console generation, right? And this is
Yep.
this is the first, to use an architectural term, like this is the capstone game. Everything else now builds off of this game. Like this is that piece of
Well, we
entertainment,
hope at
right? Yeah,
least
that
because
we
people
hope.
are going to see what it did
Yeah,
right,
that we hope.
and build on that. Do you think it has any faults?
eh.
I mean, if you had to pick one, since you both have been through the full amount of content, and Chris, you said you're going through it again. I mean, do you feel like nothing can be 100% perfect, but
Yeah.
can get pretty close?
I mean,
Go ahead, Chris. You played it longer. I mean, you played it longer than I have.
I mean, in some respects, I think. Uh, actually, I'm trying. I don't know.
I'm just trying to be
If
fair to those people
Yeah,
out there
yeah.
that are like,
If we're
I
gonna
mean,
if we're gonna if we're gonna pick nits, like there's a couple that I have, and again these are nitpicks, and again I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for me.
I see.
okay,
So
that's fair assessment.
Yeah,
so like some of the action set pieces are the same, where they're just what they do is just throw multiple, just more and more enemies at you in more and more difficult situations. So they have a few of their normal normal bullet sponge guys, and then they have guys that are snipers, and they have their shotgun users, and they have their Gatling gun type dudes, and that there's really not a whole lot of differentiation between them.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
again, if we're gonna nitpicks on it, pick a bunch of nits with it, it's those situations don't get any different. They just get more difficult, where they
Yeah.
just
So you
throw.
guys have no problem with like collisions or hit detections or anything like that when you're climbing and navigating
No,
through scenarios and scenes
I
and
no.
mean,
okay.
navigating, like climbing and whatnot was like to me. I thought it was like the best in the series by
Agreed.
far.
So
Agreed.
far, I've experienced no issues or glitches or anything like that. It's been extremely smooth.
In a generation of unfinished products, this is the most finished. I almost swore like twice right there. This is the most polished I have played.
That's important to know. I think that's a very good fact to hear because you're right. A lot of these games ship unfinished and they just were like, we'll fix it with patches and DLCs after, we ship the game.
Assassin's Creed Unity. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Or they use it as like, oh, the shipment is going to be user testing.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
And if people don't like something, we'll just change it right afterwards, which I think is crap. But...
I mean, Chris was talking about the traversing and stuff. Like, I really love that there are multiple ways to get around in areas that, a lot of the previous games, as much as I love them, it was very much a go left, go right, go forward. You really didn't have a whole lot of options, and this game gives you a lot of options. You can traverse a lot of the areas in whatever area in whatever way that you want. There's multiple paths to get to the same goal. So, there's a part where I ended up exploring an entire area, getting back to the same place that I started, and I was like, holy crap, I could have taken 3 different paths to get here. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
And that effing rope swing, man. God, that's cool.
Yeah, I do like that. That's so fun. How can you not like that?
That and sliding I thought was actually pretty neat and cool.
Did you say the sliding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If you had if Chris, if you had your girlfriend next to you, or if I had mine next to me during one of those scenes where you jump on one of the sliding gravel and then jump on off of one platform onto another and then use the rope swing and then land, it just looks cool. Like you look like you did something badass, and you're just.
I mean, for me, I recreated that part where I think it was at E3 like 2 years ago, where they showed it and you see Nate running off a cliff, and there was a grenade that just blew up, and like he ran off a cliff and did a rope swing and swung around and landed right on top of a guy.
Yep.
I recreated that scene. I was like, when I did that, I was like, oh my god, that is amazing.
Yeah.
You're like, I did it this time. I did it. That's pretty cool.
I mean, you see it on video like and whatnot, and you're like, when you see it for the first time on video at like the E3 stage that happened like 2 years ago, you're like, oh my effing G. And then like you're like, okay, I want to recreate it. I want to recreate that. And then you finally get to that part and you can feel it coming. And when that happens, that was just like such a sensation of like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean that. I almost wish they didn't show that the Madagascar scene where you're driving away from that truck.
Yeah.
I really, that's like one of the only things, I guess.
On the motorcycle.
Yeah. I wish they hadn't. Going back to the nitpicking thing, I wish they had not shown that, because if I had been able to do that sight unseen, that area of gameplay would have been on par to me with the train scenario and the plane scenario of 2 and 3. But because I already knew that those were coming, that area was coming, and then I had seen the entire thing played from beginning to end, it kind of lost a little bit of impact for me. But that's my fault. I watched the damn video, but I couldn't not watch the damn video because it looked so freaking awesome that I didn't want to turn it off, and I couldn't pry myself away to do it. So I ruined one of my favorite scenes in the game because I'm dumb.
Wait, are we talking about the one where you're driving and then it goes to the grappling hook?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the E3.
Yeah, it was like it had been the behind the scenes thing, and then they released it.
The 15-minute one.
Yeah. And I wanted to not watch it, and I ended up watching it because I'm dumb.
Well, everybody was excited and they wanted that content right away. So
I mean, they ended it like on the cliffhanger when they showed it at E3. And it shows like smashing through the scaffolding, and you're like, that's it, and that's where they stopped. And then they showed more of it behind the scenes, and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna put this out as a whole video. And then we put that out, you see everything. You're like, oh my god, why did I watch this?
Yep.
I just spoiled myself.
Yep.
So Chris, Dante is doing the official review on the site. If you had to give it a number, review, what would you give it?
Oh, it'd be a 10.
My
Okay.
man.
I was just
My
curious.
No
man.
problem.
Just curious.
My
No
man.
problem.
Oh. So I guess what we're trying to tell everybody that's listening is we highly recommend them playing the
Oh,
game because it's totally
oh,
worth it.
absolutely. I mean, you could definitely tell the polish that they actually put forth in the game. Even if you, I've actually looked up on YouTube of like what they did, what they showed at E3 and whatnot, what they showed at different shows, and what does the retail copy look like. They actually polished up a lot, and it looked really good at the E3 video to me. And they,
Oh yeah.
but you see the retail copy of it, and like, oh my god, they actually do like a graphics comparison.
Like a side by
Yeah,
side
yeah, to do
comparison.
that, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like
Yeah.
even a set piece that actually looked finished and looked like, okay, yeah, this is finished. Like the whole 15-minute scene where you smash through the scaffolding and whatnot. I was like, oh yeah, that's finished.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna need to work on that anymore. Nope, they polished the heck out of that crap.
Yeah. That's cool that they could do a few more passes and just add the extra detail to it to make it look more realistic.
Chris, how long did it take you to beat it the first time through?
What?
How long did it take you to beat the game the first time through?
About 15 hours.
Yeah, okay. That's not too different. I was at 17, like a little over 17 hours, I think. And I had, and
Does it tell you in the game, or you guys
yeah,
just
no.
guessing
There's
it?
the statistics page is, Uncharted's always had them, but this is a little more,
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like they,
Or it's under
oh yeah,
the treasure
they let you deep
option.
dive a little further into the stats on it. So
Yeah, like, oh, how much was your accuracy? And mine was
yeah,
like ridiculously
even
low.
even like just standing still, right? So it had a timer for just standing still. I caught myself doing that a bunch of different times where I'm just staring at a vista in the game, listening to the ambient noise in the level,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I ended the game. I think I had 45 minutes of standing still time. I'm like,
I
what
had
the
a,
hell is wrong with
Wow.
me? I wasn't
I had
even.
a, I had an
I
hour and a half.
Does that count if you're in
No,
paused?
no, yeah.
No,
So
no.
if the game's not paused and you're just standing still, the game was picking up me just standing still, and I looked at that number when I was done with the game. Like I sat still for 45 minutes. What
You were
what the
sightseeing.
hell is wrong with me? You're like, this is you idiot. Just play the game.
That's too funny.
I mean,
That's why Chris beat it in like 15 and you beat it in
Yeah.
17.
well, I did
Right?
stand still for like an hour and 45 minutes from when I ended the game. That's why I said
Oh,
that. It
did
was like,
you? Holy
yeah,
crap!
yeah,
You're way worse
That's
than
too
me.
funny.
yeah. Because I was just sitting there looking at everything. And it was like, what happens if I just don't move anything? I'm just gonna stand here for a
Yeah.
second.
You're like taking selfies and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a photo mode, so I mean, no, I didn't take any photos in the first playthrough. Second playthrough, I did.
Those I mean like those just like optional conversations and things like that. I mean there's so much good to talk about in this game, and like I don't know where all all due respect to The Witcher and Tomb Raider, because I love the hell out of those games. They were phenomenal last
Sure.
year. I don't know where we go from here, and I don't know if any game on this console generation is gonna come anywhere close to this.
No,
Yeah, I just I don't know what is even coming down the pipeline.
Horizon Zero Dawn, maybe.
Yeah, I mean like Horizon, or the boy band Final Fantasy, or
Yeah.
Zelda whenever the hell that comes out, or when I those are the only things I can think of right now down the pipeline that could make
Be
that yeah that
remotely
could even
good. Yeah.
stand toe to toe with this.
It's true. I know.
I don't know.
Well, that's a good note to end it on.
I just don't understand. Yeah, I just don't understand where they're going to go from here, or where the industry is going to go. Well, as far as like trying
Yeah.
to be above and above, do what Naughty Dog has done, or
I
even
would,
Xbox. Be like,
yeah.
how can we get like our like franchise to look as good as
Well,
that?
it depends on the life cycle of this
Well,
PlayStation 4. That's also part of it too, if it ends in September or
yeah.
not.
I mean, like Phil Spencer even talked about, he had sent a tweet out, "Hey, just got done playing." Phil Spencer's the head of Xbox, just so anybody that doesn't know. And he sent out a tweet, "Hey, Naughty Dog, congratulations!" Like, I mean, the guy just has a love for video games, and even a rival company is sending messages to you, telling you how absolutely groundbreaking and amazing you are.
They have to do their
Yeah,
research,
I mean,
man.
you know that you're doing something special when your rival is telling you did a damn good job.
Yeah, I agree.
So catch up, the rest of you.
Yep, I'm on it. And everybody else that hasn't played it, you should probably pick it up and play it. Sounds like it's worth it.
I would love to revisit this like a month from now and just talk about the story and everything, because there's just so many.
Yeah, let's
That's
do
like the
that.
best.
We'll do a
I mean,
follow-up
the
one.
best moments of this game is stuff we can't even talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? We will do a follow-up one. Let's count it down, put it on the calendars. That way, by that time, everybody that wants to play it should have played it by then. And if they don't want to listen to the podcast, they don't have to. But we'll talk about the finer points and details of story.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and thank you guys for joining me on this podcast to talk about Uncharted 4.
No.